want secure borders. We want safe cities. Sensible spending so that we don't have crazy inflation. We want freedom of speech. We want the Constitution to be upheld. And I'm being told at times that these are like right-wing values. I'm like, are you insane? There's literally the fundamental values that made America what it is today.
Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk campaigning for former President Trump there in battleground Pennsylvania last night. Musk, once a lifelong Democrat, now a GOP mega donor, giving around $75 million to his own pro-Trump super PAC over a 3-month span. Joining me now is New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who, like Musk, also switched from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party, a member of the House Judiciary and Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Congressman, it's good to see you. You know, Elon Musk made a good point there. I mean, he's talking about the fundamental values of America, free speech, the idea that we want safe cities and sensible spending. And yet, people attack him on the Democrat side for being too pro-GOP. Your reaction?
Well, my reaction is he's telling the truth. What happened to Elon Musk is what happened to me. The more that you become involved, the more that you see what this new Democratic Party, which is really the party of the extreme left, is about, the more you realize we're at risk. The real existential threat to America is loss of our republic. It really boils down to that. He's spot on. The freedom of speech, the freedom to think freely, to speak freely, those are most important issues of our time. You know what I would wish that could happen, Maria? People say to me, what's your one regret? Well, I'll tell you a regret that I have, that not every single American, including you, could sit every day with me on the Judiciary Committee and see what is truly going on, to see what happened with Mark Zuckerberg in the Facebook files, when even Mark had to finally admit, yes, he was working in collusion with the White House to censure free speech.
That is terrible.
It's the most important amendment of them all.
Absolutely. We're looking at, 18 days before Election Day now, Congressman, and a lot of people talking about Pennsylvania being critical for President Trump to win. The majority of Pennsylvania county sheriffs have now endorsed former President Trump. A letter signed by 49 of the 67 sheriffs in the state saying Trump is the best candidate to support law enforcement and secure the border, writing Trump is the only candidate who supports law and order. The endorsement coming on the heels of the FBI revising crime data from 2022. All this time they're telling us crime is down, crime is down. Well, they quietly revise the stats now, and it shows an increase in violent crimes for 2022. The previous data showed violent crimes down by 2.1% in 2022, but the new numbers show violent crime is up 4.5%. Just like they revised quietly all the jobs numbers, they're doing this on crime now. The new data also shows a net increase of over 80,000 violent crimes. Congressman, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, why doesn't the FBI get it right? And when they announce it, make sure the numbers are accurate. It's so curious to me. They announced that crime is down, and that was done with a great deal of fanfare, was discussed on every media outlet there was, how wonderful it was. Biden was talking about it. Harris was talking about it. Now the reality sets in. Once again, the statistics weren't correct. Once again, what we all knew anecdotally was that crime was going up if you speak to anybody, especially in the cities, but that's quietly done. Nobody hears about it. Again, it goes back to that freedom of speech. It isn't free. We're not hearing the real truth and the real story. And you know what, Maria, in Pennsylvania, my district is the playground for Pennsylvania, the Jersey Shore. All these folks from Pennsylvania come over here. I'm talking to them constantly. And I'm telling you, Pennsylvania is moving in the right direction. We're going to win Pennsylvania. You can see the change that's occurring there.
Well, what about New Jersey? I mean, President Trump keeps going to all of these deep blue areas, and he's commanding big crowds. He told me just on Sunday that not only is he planning on Madison Square Garden for a big rally where it fits 20,000 people, but he's got deals in Atlanta for other arenas. Here's President Trump on what's to come in the coming 18 days. You told me back in February that you were going to rent out Madison Square Garden for a rally.
Yeah.
And now you're going to do it at the end of October.
Not only Madison Square Garden, we're taking 4 or 5 arenas. We fill them up very fast. As you know, we took where the Islanders play in Long Island. We had, I guess, 23,000 people, and we could have sold it out literally 3 times. We had thousands of people. We had tens of thousands of people that couldn't get in. We put screens on the outside of the building so they could see it. But that was incredible. And we just signed on Madison Square Garden. We're probably going to make a deal in Atlanta. We're trying to get the Atlanta arena, and we fill them up in minutes. And there's a great enthusiasm.
I think Madison Square Garden can only hold 20,000 people.
We're going to fill it up very fast. It's true.
Your thoughts on this strategy of President Trump, Congressman, to go into these deep blue areas and actually do big rallies, get a big crowd?
I think it's exciting. I think we have a chance to win these areas that they think are unwinnable. Remember, the biggest crowd he's had to date was when we did it down in Wildwood. I was so proud to have him back the second time in my district. 102,000 people on the beach. And again, he loves New Jersey. He's been part of it. He lives in Bedminster a good part of the year. He loves New York. He has built his empire there. He's not given up on these areas, and he won't give up on these areas. And I think we're going to be surprised. And we're pushing to win New Jersey. I'm doing things all across the state. Again, I'm the chairman of his campaign in the state. We're not going to give up on New Jersey. I think we got a real shot. I think Election Day is going to be one big, huge surprise in a positive way.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson kicking off a swing state tour aimed at protecting and growing the House majority. This weekend, the Speaker will be in Michigan with upcoming stops in Ohio and Pennsylvania, among other states. Former President Trump is making a play for traditionally blue New York and New Jersey. Yesterday, he stopped by a barbershop in the Bronx. He didn't get his hair cut, but he did meet with some customers there, talking to them there at the barbershop, Congressman. That's the thing about Trump. He just walks into these areas like a regular guy and starts chatting everybody up.
I love it. And that's what it's about. I mean, he's a real person. What he thinks, what he feels is what he says. And that's so important. And people know that. And that genuine ability that he has really makes a difference. So he'll go to a bodega, he'll go to a barber shop, he'll go to a small store, and he'll just walk around talking to people and listening to people. People are tired of the elite running the country and not listening to them. He listens.
Are you expecting a change in the SALT deduction should Trump return to the White House?
I do, and I think it's something that's important. I mean, it's about time, because I know that New York and New Jersey really gets hard hit. It's not his fault. In this one case, it's not even the federal government's fault. It is truly because so many of these blue states are run so inefficiently and so many of these cities the same. However, the impact is on regular working people, and in areas like New Jersey, New York, and others, it makes a difference. You should be able to deduct that. He's doing a lot of good populist moves here, whether it is cutting the taxes on removing the taxes on overtime, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips, and most of all, really looking at Social Security, no tax on Social Security. He's got a lot of good ideas there. I think with Elon Musk working at his side, we're going to see some exciting things in the Trump administration. It's going to happen, Maria.
All right. We will keep watching all of that. Congressman, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Jeff Van Drew joining us this morning in New Jersey.